Hello. Well, not exactly the best game, but I'm shockingly positive tonight. I don't feel that bad, even though I watched a soccer game that made me want to gouge my eyeballs out after the first 10 minutes. Shout out to Canadian soccer. Wanted you to draw, but hey, beat Mexico. I'm never mad about that. So that was fun. Good job. Maybe blow it in the next couple of games and make sure the U.S. gets in. But let's get back to hockey, where the Golden Knights lost, and the Golden Knights did not deserve to win. And the Golden Knights probably shouldn't have even been as close in that game as they were, but there were some good things. The fact that they were as close as they were. I thought the defensive coverage as a whole was actually better than I thought it was going to be in a game like this. For as many times as they refused to dump the puck in, I thought they gave up fewer breaks than I thought they were going to. Brett Howden did something. That was shocking, weird, fun. Good. I don't know what to make of that. Like, that Brett Howden, I'm happy with. That Brett Howden can be a difference maker. That was fun. Beats the guy on the outside, Riley Smith's brother. Pops it top shelf. Good stuff. I think it hit the bar and went down, but damn, that was good. Let's see. Leonard was good. I know people want to yap about that and say his rebound control is no good. I don't really know what he's supposed to do with the rebound. Don't know. Not really sure where it's supposed to go other than kicked out directly to the boards. You just have a guy standing there and nobody's stick checking him. Didn't like that. Like, Coughlin watched him go in behind him and kind of just allowed it to happen. I don't really know why or what was going on there. Like, they're usually taught stick under stick and make a play, lift his stick up or at least cancel. Make sure you're making it difficult on the guy. I think that was kind of the part that was disappointing to me, I guess, today was I thought things were just too easy on Carolina. You know, they're just too easy entering the zone, too easy breaking out of their own zone, too easy when they were bringing their forecheck that the Golden Knights would kind of just fling it down the ice and take the icing and not be all that concerned about it. Too easy, really allowing shots through. Like, I didn't think they were good enough in the shot lane. At one point I looked up and it was like pretty deep into the game and the blocked shots was 5-3. I want to say it was in the second period. Like, when they've got 25, 30 on the board, like, the Golden Knights cannot have 5. That's not the way they're designed to defend. That's not how they're supposed to defend, and that's not going to be the way that they're going to keep goals off the board against a team that's at this point, at this moment, better than them. You know, but you allow the two, you kind of slow the bleeding, and then put yourself in a position where you have these chances. They get, you know, they make it happen. Brett Howden with his little moment. Good forechecking from Stevenson. Stone behind the goal, flips it out to Theodore once, twice, 3 times, finally puts it home. Like, getting that one. You then have the break from Janmark. There's another opportunity on the power play, which that was actually one of their better power plays. We don't see good power plays very often. Amadio with a real nice pass in the power play. So there are good things to take from this game in that you look at how good Carolina is, how well they've been playing this season, where the Golden Knights are with their roster, and you can sit back and say, man, it was 2-2 at the end of the second, and the Golden Knights really only played, over the course of that entire game, for me, about 6 or 7 good minutes of hockey, and they're in it. So now when a Detroit comes to town, or, you know, who's the team coming in behind Detroit? I can't even remember now. Whoever that is, you know, when these teams come in, I don't think it's anybody great. Who is it? Somebody put it in the comments. It's bothering me now. No, I'm going to look it up. Don't put it in the comments. I'm going to look it up before. Oh, Columbus. Ooh, that will be a tough one. Yeah, that's right. I knew it was somebody. I guess it would have been somebody. Nonetheless, you know, when you play a Detroit, when you play a lot of these Pacific Division teams, you'll be in a position where that will be enough. But there are some things that I think they have to look at and build on, because as you go through these games and as you understand that, like, they're getting players back, and of course I know the Theodore thing and the Dodonov thing and Marchessault's on the COVID list and Carrier's on the COVID list and all of this is going on, but As players continue to come back in, there are certain, thanks Gary, putting it in the comments there for me, Columbus, that game, so Detroit and then Columbus, and then they're back on the road. As the players come back in, you're going to have to get back to some of the things they were doing right over the course of the past year and a half, 2 years, however you want to say, however long you want to say DeBoer's been here, in that shot suppression style is going to have to come back. Their ability to challenge at the blue line is going to have to come back. And I thought we were starting to see that heading in the right direction. And then you look at the competition and you look at what you were seeing against a team like Vancouver, and they go behind in that game. What you were seeing in the game before that when they had the 3-goal lead and they almost blew it. Who was that one? Minnesota and Seattle. So, like, these are teams. Minnesota's pretty good. They're playing well. That was an important win, but you had a pretty good lead. You allow that thing to come back. You're definitely having that same issue where the blue lines in both blue lines to this point, at least in this game, you're not doing what you should be doing at that point. So, like, defensive blue line, I'm still not sure this system that is created to generate more turnovers, and I think inherently is a little bit riskier with kind of dropping the defense or dropping a third player along the blue line, having him jump up into the play to kind of try and take away that guy on the entry. If that does not go well, you're kind of shaded to one side of the ice, normally the side the puck is on. I would say that's the plan that they're trying to do. And then when the puck switches sides, now you're kind of in a position where you're caught a little bit off. You have a forward kind of defending and many times having to skate backwards, not necessarily what you're looking for, challenging at the blue line. It's allowing too many easy entries. And what that does is that then leads to shots on goal, chances, high danger chances, living in your own end, having to be able to exit the zone. I thought that Mark Stone's comment today was very good in that the Golden Knights are at their best when they're breaking the puck out of the zone consistently and successfully and quickly, I would say most of the time. Doesn't necessarily mean they can't spend any time in their own zone. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when they get possession of the puck, it should be a couple of 5-foot, 6-foot, 10-foot passes, and then they're up and out. And that's when you start to really be able to make something happen. That's when they start feeding into that transition game. That's when they start getting that shot suppression. That's when they're able to really challenge at the blue line and be very, very, very difficult to play against. And then when they're getting good goaltending, the opportunities are going to come on the other end. They're probably going to shut some stuff down, and they're going to be able to beat most teams when they're playing at their best and when they have the majority of their players in the lineup. At this time, they don't. But the problem is I'm not seeing any sort of consistency in the way that they're defending. The way that they're defending, allowing entries, the way that they're defending even when they get in the zone, it's been sporadic. There's been days that they're willing to block shots. There's been days like tonight that they are not. There's been days where they drop in-zone coverage. Today, I thought they were actually pretty good at that. There's a lot of times where guys stand right in front of the goal. Today was better, but the one time where the shot comes from the side, Leonard kicks it out, Coughlin's got the man behind him. Not a ton you can, he's got to be able to make sure that he's challenging that player. And even if you lose the challenge, like he tries to cancel the guy's stick, he tries to make a stick check, he tries to body him, whatever. If I see that, I feel better about the process of where it is. I was finally starting to actually feel good. And I know they've won 8 of 10 prior to today, so it's now 8 of 11. But I was starting to really finally start to feel like this is the team that can build on this. And as they get their players back, they're going to be a handful for absolutely everybody they're playing. I felt like that took a huge step in the wrong direction today. I thought it was a step in the wrong direction against Vancouver. I understand they won that game, but to me, that was a team that you played the way Vancouver wanted to play, and Vancouver is such a mess right now defensively that you were able to beat them at their own game. That's not the game the Golden Knights should be playing against that Vancouver team, especially a reeling Vancouver team. Like, I get it. You won 7-4. You win the game by 3. Like, I'm not trying to take away the wins. And I want to make it very clear that I've basically come across the mountain of like, uh-oh, they're injured. They might end up missing the postseason. Like I'm out on the other side of that. Like I don't have much of any fear at all that this team's going to miss the playoffs. And actually we heard a couple of comments like, Stone, I think, said like Carolina's going to be in the mix. I don't necessarily know that he was saying with us, but I kind of got that vibe from him. There was a question about injuries, and DeBoer said something along the lines of like, well, hopefully we get luck at the time that matters, when the games really matter. Were some comments about when the games truly matter. Like, I'm with them. I'm on the other side saying like, okay, they got enough points out of this. They were able to survive the month and a half we're looking at with Pacioretty out, the month and a half with Carlson out. They're going through the COVID thing now. That'll be temporary. Stone is back, looking somewhat like Stone. I think he'll get better and better as time goes on. Martinez, that one seems like it's going to be fairly short term. As a whole, the important players, you're going to be able to survive it, and I'm not all that concerned anymore about making the playoffs. So now I want the process to look like, what is it going to look like? How is this team going to be able to make things happen when they play good opponents inevitably in the postseason? Where they finish doesn't really matter to me. So as we move forward, I need to see more of this system and this new style of defending in the neutral zone and how you're trying to create and generate turnovers. If it's going to lead to easier zone entry and more time in your own zone, that's perfectly fine if it leads to more of these turnovers. We haven't really seen that specifically against some of the better teams. So that's where my concern comes in, and that's where I'm hoping that can improve as time goes on. I felt like we were starting to get there, and then now a little bit of a step back and something that they probably should do. Great call from Chris Boyd here. This Periscope is sponsored by Conler & Associates CPAs, as it's scrolling across the bottom there. If you need tax help, or you have small business questions, or if you have cryptocurrency tax questions, as I read my scroller that I wrote right before this started, go to conlercpa.com and tell them that SinBin sent you. Just had somebody reach out to me on direct message saying that they had questions for their small business, and they called up Conler and told them that SinBin sent them, and they got a free consultation. And the Conlers are fantastic people and big-time Golden Knights fans, big-time supporters of this show and SinBin and the Golden Knights. Good stuff. So please do that. ConlerCPA.com. That's Conler with a K, CPA.com. It's scrolling on the bottom of this. If you are not watching or listening, then you'll just figure it out. Okay. Moving on to the next thing I want to talk about. And that is Keegan Kolesar. Because I'm at the point where, like, it's consistently him that goes up when they need someone to move up. Like, yes, I know it was Carrier, but this is a player that to me is a fourth line player, and he has to be on the fourth line. He cannot be on the power play. He cannot be in any situation where you're ever expecting a goal. And in this case, in a second line role, you are expecting a goal. Like, there are other people. I understand the risk that you're taking. I get it. If you're putting Paul Cotter there, if you're putting Sven Berchi, who wasn't even in the lineup there, if you're trying Michael Amadio there, Janmark, who hasn't played well. But to me, these are the options. These are guys that you have to give a chance as opposed to Keegan Kolesar. Because I think we're at the point now, 70-something games into his career, we know what he can be. And I think he is a bona fide NHL player. But to consistently lean on him as the guy and to put him with Mark Stone, you're just not going to get anything. And yes, Christian is right. At one point, and as this game went on, they did give Howden a little bit more of an opportunity, but I feel like he's even been given that opportunity, and Howden hasn't done a ton with it either. He does have 2 goals. Today's was a little bit different than the other one, but like, I do think you want to see some different experimentation there. Like, you're missing Carlson, you're missing Marchessault, you're missing Pacioretty. You can try some different things, and you can go with a little bit of a deeper looking lineup. And to me, this belief of like, this guy needs to be in there and in this situation. I know how banged up you are. Like, I get it. But I just don't fully understand what the expectation is going to be for that player and why you're not giving these chances to some other people, even though they're going to get important minutes. Like, whoever's playing with Mark Stone is going to get important minutes. But reasonably, you don't have a great option there. So going with the safest option, which is also the biggest detriment to your ability to score, Stone and Pacioretty, Stone and Stevenson get a goal, and the wingers nowhere to be found even on the play. Maybe they can generate more. Maybe they can create another goal. Maybe something else can happen. I just don't understand why it has to be him as often as it has been him, and how he has kind of made it so that he's in the lineup. Like, I'm not even sure they're going to be able to take him out of the lineup even when they get fully healthy. And I'm not sure when, even when that's going to be. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat, because I think I'm fairly almost out of things to talk about. And again, because I don't really have a huge problem with this game. Like, you're not as good as them right now. You're going to have a hard time playing against that team. They played pretty well. I don't think they were amazing, but they played pretty well. You're probably going to have a hard time beating them. They had their backup goalie in, and I thought that, maybe that might have helped the Golden Knights out. Don't really think it did. Maybe some different goalie maybe stops the Howden chance, but I think the Theodore one probably goes. He was pretty good on the power play. Again, like I said, that power play was halfway decent. This is an interesting one, which is Janmark hasn't been good at all. I don't know where to come in on kind of buying his excuse at this point. So we had him in a press conference a couple of days ago or yesterday, or I don't know, all the days are going back together now to me. It must have been yesterday. Or no, because yesterday I left real early. I don't know. Whenever it was, Saturday, the other day, I don't know. At some point, we had Matthias Janmark. And basically, he said something along the lines of, he still doesn't feel himself. His lungs aren't completely there. He doesn't feel like his timing is right. He just has really had a hard go to the beginning of this season. And I think it's real clear watching him play that this is not the player the Golden Knights traded for. This is not the player the Golden Knights re-signed. This is nowhere near the player that scored a hat trick in the postseason in a Game 7. I would not be willing to give up on him in any stretch. I do think that it's challenging because if the wind isn't there and like if he's not able to play 17 minutes a night or whatever it would take, he can't get the opportunity to play up with, like a Waugh and a Smith right now, or he can't get the opportunity to potentially play with Stone and Stevenson. Like, there are options that he would be if he were healthy and able to do it. It doesn't seem like he can do it. There's like literally conversations on the bench of like, can you take another shift in this period? And I don't know the exacts of that, but like DeBoer kind of hinted to that too, that there's a lot of communication. I'm not done with him yet. I'm not giving up on him yet. I wasn't a huge fan of the signing in the first place, just solely based on the number. I'm not sure how far above a replacement player he is, and to pay him effectively 3 times replacement player number, I don't love it. I would have preferred the cap space. This is pre-Eichel, now post-Eichel. You really need that cap space back. But again, I think we have to be patient with him. And like, as much as you want to say like, oh, it sucks all the injuries that they have. Well, one of the guys is injured and playing and not performing to the level that we potentially could get. So you can't really give up there. Do we have timelines on the people returning? So it seems like the soonest ones coming back would be Martinez. Facial laceration. Seemed like the testing was okay, that nothing crazy happened there, that he's going to be out a real long time. So that one seems to be probably first. The COVID ones, I think it's 10 days. So like Carrier should be 6 or 7 away. Marchessault's probably 8 or 9, maybe the full 10. So that's where we're at on those two. Nolan Patrick's is completely up in the air. I could see that one being long-term, even though McCrimmon specifically said that it was not. I could also see that one like turning around in a hurry. I know he has been skating. I don't know how much. He has not skated with the team. So maybe he gets back out there and can eventually get back in. Beyond that, it should be Pacioretty, Whitecloud, Carlson. Maybe Whitecloud jumps Pacioretty. Maybe Carlson jumps Whitecloud. Unlikely that Carlson jumps Pacioretty. Pacioretty hasn't really been skating a ton, if at all, that I know of. I know he's still on the walking, the like trike thing that they do when guys have broken feet. They said he's out of the cast, so that's good. Obviously, Eichel, you're looking at probably March, so we're a ways off on that. And then obviously we'll get into what that looks like at that point, but that's as far as I've got. Which rookies from Henderson Silver Knights have impressed you? Not really any of them, to be completely honest. Like, I like what I saw out of the goals from both Ronbier and Cotter. Obviously, Lecision going to the front. That's more of a play from Dodonov. Like, I was more impressed with Dodonov on that play than I was on Lecision on that play. I don't really see any of them pushing to stay in the lineup when they get even half healthier than where they are. I would say the same about Coughlin. I think Haig is definitely a better option than Coughlin moving forward. Not that they, obviously Coughlin plays on the right and Haig plays on the left, but I thought that if it was possible that Coughlin comes in and takes a huge step. I thought we were starting to see more from Coughlin playing with McNabb. That's kind of taken a step in the wrong direction. I just don't think they have high-end players. And now, obviously, with Krebs gone, that's another one that goes away. I just don't know that they have much of anybody that's going to make a true impact up or down the lineup. I would say Cotter's probably the one that's the most exciting of the ones that's come up. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Sven Berchi play a game. There is an NHL history there. Maybe he, can dip into some of the Carpenter and Peary magic that we had seen. I don't necessarily need it for now. I want to find players down the road because, again, like, are you going to be able to win with Nick Waugh in the third line position, with Kolazar and Carrier, Janmark and, Patrick, Howden? I just don't know how deep this team is prior to making the moves that they're going to have to make to get Eichel off LTIR. And even if they do find their way to get there, then maybe you're able to sneak it out this year. But if you do play a situation where you are playing LTIR all the way, that means at all times you have $9 million on LTIR. You're never going to have a true feel for what your team is. And I think you see as you get a player like a Mark Stone back, your roster and your style of play fundamentally changes. That's going to be the same case with Eichel. And if you're taking 2 or 3 other players off the ice, like, I don't know that that's the best option. Plus, you have that month. There's a month off, and what it's going to look like there, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to find a way to play the injured reserve thing. So someone's going to have to go. And in that respect, you are looking for a Ronbier, a Lecision, a Cotter, Howden, Kolazar, Carrier to move up. Waugh has been good. Don't get me wrong. Waugh has been good. But then when Waugh's placed in positions where he needs to really take the step, today would have been a good day for Nick Waugh to have had a big-time game. It wasn't there. Now, I know the matchups will be better as he moves down, but he's also going to be playing with much less skilled wingers. And Nick Waugh's been at his best playing with skilled players, playing in between Carlson and Smith, playing with an opportunity to play with Alex Tuck. Like, that's where we've seen the best Nick Waugh. I don't know you're getting that even with, at best, it would be like Dodonov and Janmark. Like, I don't know you're getting something special there. And then the other idea that I keep hearing and I keep seeing when people want to throw out all the names when they are healthy is then moving Nick Waugh to the wing. And I think you lose a lot of what's best of Nick Waugh when you put him on the wing. I just don't think you're getting full quality Nick Waugh if you're playing him with Chandler Stevenson in the middle. And then if Chandler Stevenson's not on the third line and he's up, well, then where's Carlson? So there's a lot of questions that have to be answered. And obviously they're going to have to ship guys out. If they get to that point, we'll see where we go from there. But you want to see more from the bottom six guys. I know it's a lot to ask. I'm not making any judgments on it yet fully, but to me at this point, if you're healthy, none of these guys has pushed anybody out of a position at this point. Like, we're just not there. And we were headed there a little bit, but now I feel like we're headed back in the wrong direction. And maybe I'm overdoing it on this game. That's certainly possible. What do you know about the All-Star skills competition that we'll take outside on the strip? I know absolutely nothing. The All-Star stuff is all league-driven. So any contacts I have with the Golden Knights, it's basically only ticket related, and the ticket prices were insane. I couldn't believe it when I pulled up the link today to buy them on the pre-sale. Like, I was planning on buying them and then finding a way to kind of give them away, but like, god damn, it was like $300 for the last, or the first couple of rows in the upper deck. It's like $600 for lowers. And like, what is going on here? I'm not sure that's Golden Knights prices or that's NHL prices. I don't know. Maybe I'll look back into it over, tomorrow when I have more time. But man, that was crazy. But as far as like how it's going to go and what it's going to look like, it's mostly done by the league. So we don't get a lot of information. And to me, like, I'm not going to get a lot of league sources because the league doesn't give a fuck about me. People in Vegas do a little bit sometimes, mostly not, but a little bit more than the Bettmans of the world do. You think we'll see Logan Thompson this year? I would think it would have to take an injury. I don't think you see him at all if Brossoit or Leonard are never injured. If one of them is injured, I do think he's immediately the guy that steps in. I do think that they would play him as often as they would play Brossoit if they were in that situation, maybe slightly less if, let's say, it were to be like a 2-month situation. But I think that if it were to, say, be Leonard without a week or 2 weeks or whatever, I think you'd see them basically split. Maybe it leans a little bit more towards Brossoit, but I don't think he's that far behind. But that could change real quick with a couple of opportunities at this level. We haven't seen him at this level, so I'm not sure what to expect there. He's been good. He's been everything you could possibly ask for in the AHL. I expect him to have an NHL future. I'm not sure that the timeline matches up right now for this team outside of if there's an injury, and that's this year and next. So that's a little concerning. That's all I've got for tonight. Tomorrow we've got goalie interference coming up at 7:00. We got a lot to talk about on there. I have some things to needle Mike on. I forget, there was a tweet I can't remember what it was. But I was like, what in the world is going on this tweet? It was not parking, shopping cart related, but it was something similar. I don't remember what that is. So that's 7:00 tomorrow. He always brings good stuff. There's always a lot of insight from him. I think that's probably right now one of the better things that we do, that show. So that's a definitely can't miss. I highly recommend that. If you're going to do anything regarding our site at the moment, I think that's the show to take in. If you're spending an hour a week on SinBin, that's the answer for me. As much as these are fun and I enjoy doing these, but that has been really, really good, and I really enjoy that. Sin Bingo is still open until the end of the month. Shout out to our guys at Legacy Sports Cards for handling that for us and sponsoring that. And please go pick up your card from the store. It means a lot to us to get people into their store. It means a lot to them. It shows that our advertising works. That's why we are able to make money. That does a lot for us. Please do that. Games coming up: Detroit, Columbus at home, then a couple of road games at St. Louis and Nashville, and then one single home game: Edmonton, Anaheim, Arizona on the road behind that. Schedule doesn't look great at the moment. Like, these are tough teams. Detroit is playing better. Columbus is a decent team, and the Golden Knights struggle against them, though I think Columbus actually becomes a better matchup with some of the issues that the Golden Knights have had defending a little bit, or at least defending at the blue line. I think that might actually be a better matchup, where it normally in the past has been a worse one. St. Louis on the road will be tough. Nashville on the road will be tough. Edmonton struggling a bit as of recently, but I still think they're a damn good team. Anaheim playing great. They've won 8 straight. So, it's the heads above water. They're playing fine. They're doing the things they need to do. Like I said, I feel good about the postseason, but when this injury bug keeps up, if you drop 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row here, we might start talking about finding a way to start getting your head back above water. I'm pretty confident this team's going to do it. Even just this effort today. No, they didn't play great. No, they were not going to beat Carolina today, but they're in it. They're there. It's 2-2 into the third. Like, I felt better about that. So as a whole, not really that big, all that concerned. But looking at the schedule, it's not easy. They're going to have to start playing good hockey, and I think it's going to have to be detailed hockey, systematic hockey, making sure they're taking care of the puck, taking care of their own end, challenging at the blue line, doing the things they used to do, blocking shots, which hopefully that doesn't lead to the injury bug, but we will see. Thanks again to Conler & Associates CPAs. Thanks for everybody for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for goalie interference at 7.